His tightly clasped hands turned his knuckles white as his mind berated him. Was he afraid of Blackstone, or the Lord Jesus? Surely it was the latter. He feared the Almighty's condemnation, not any physical threat from the Englishman. He was safe. He was protected. Blackstone would never dare harm him. The Prince of Wales had commanded it. Blackstone's name had not been uttered in months. He was as a ghost in the prince's court. The English king had decreed that the prince must return Pedro to his rightful place in Castile. An army was being prepared. The French must not be allowed to usurp a vital ally on Aquitaine's southern flank across the Pyrenees, and Pedro, despite his cruelty and violence, was that ally. There had been no mention of Thomas Blackstone when his master had discussed plans with the Prince of Wales. Doubt about waging war without the renowned knight was not even touched on. For all the High Steward knew, Thomas Blackstone would never be favoured in the English prince's court again. As his tormented mind raced through the purgatory of doubt, a small miracle enveloped him. A God-given moment of warmth seeped into his aching bones. The cathedral's deathly cold chill had stiffened his aging muscles, but now he felt the comfort of spiritual forgiveness embrace him. A tear trickled down his cheek in gratitude. The Lord had accepted his penance. He gathered his cloak around him. It would not be long before they recrossed the Pyrenees and returned home. All would soon be well. The High Steward scurried along the cloisters leading to the cobbled passage that would return him to the servants' entrance to the palace. His survival instinct these past months made him avoid the main public thoroughfares, seeking different ways to reach the cathedral's side door. A single lantern burned in the distance. He hugged the darkness, focusing on the lamp's glow. A beacon guiding him back to a warm bed for the scant few hours before dawn, when his master would be roused for morning prayers. Then he faltered and turned to face the darkness behind him. He had heard someone moving in the distance. He waited, breath held tightly. Shadows moved beyond the cloisters. His tension eased. It was only a handful of worshippers leaving the cathedral's main entrance, silent except for shoe leather scuffing cobbles. He did not berate himself for his caution. Better to be wary. A servant holding the lantern was waiting for him. The High Steward struck out across the courtyard as the hooded man raised the oil lamp above his shoulder, showing the King's steward the way. "All is well?" the High Steward called. "Aye, my lord. The night watch has passed by. There is no one else abroad at this hour, only the righteous." The High Steward nodded and gestured the man to lead the way. He followed in his wake. They turned a corner. A sliver of light entered the passageway from a high window, a narrow slit in the rough-hewn walls. A servant lighting a lamp, no doubt after having slept in a stairwell, or wherever a humble resting place could be found. The High Steward's gaze returned to the lamp-carrier, who had stopped half a dozen paces ahead of him. "Get on," he ordered the man. The lantern-bearer made no response. He stood still, gazing down. The High Steward reached him and saw what the man was looking at. It was the crumpled body of a servant. His servant. He took a rapid pace backwards as the man in front of him turned and pulled back his hood. The High Steward stared at him. He thought he recognized the face, but could put no name to it. He gasped as his retreat brought him up against a second man. He whirled around, pressing his back against the wall. Two cloaked men barred the way. One close, the other several paces, and to one side behind him. A block against any escape attempt, should he manage to get past the hulking figure who stared faceless from the darkness of his hood. "All right, Will," said a voice from behind the lantern-bearer, who handed the lamp to the voice's owner, a fourth man who stepped out of the darkness and pulled back his cowl. King Pedro's steward lurched forward, heart pounding as he gasped for breath. The blood drained from his face as he stared at Thomas Blackstone. "It cannot be you. You are banished." "I am," said Blackstone. "Then how?" The question died on his lips. His throat was dry with fear. It made no difference how Blackstone had found him.